Okay, good evening, everybody. Filming this kind of late. It's 10 o'clock right now. I don't know. Is 10 o'clock late? I don't know. I'm sure it is for probably somebody. Doing this in a little bit of a different format. You can see we have the Dollar Tree knockoff version of the mural from chapter 1138 that I drew for the sole purpose that I could make a video like this, that I could have this up on screen for the entire video and not worry about Shueisha copyright claiming anything. I mean, I don't know. I just wanted to make sure, okay? Dude, Oda really made this insanely intricate. Like, there are just so many things on this mural to discuss. And, you know, sometimes I feel like Oda makes things kind of simplistic in One Piece for the sake of the, you know, the demographics, like the audience, you know, because a lot of children read One Piece. And sometimes I get the feeling like Oda, you know, maybe not necessarily holds your hand, but like every time a character shows up that hasn't been around for a while, like Stanson, for instance, Oda will go out of his way to draw like a little refresher on Stanson. Like, oh, hey, remember that guy? He was the giant at the Sabaody Archipelago at the auction house. Remember that dude that the Straw Hat saved? So like sometimes he's like, I don't know if people will remember this. I got to make sure to put like little recap sections. And I appreciate that he does that. But then other times he draws this. He goes around and draws this. It's like, yeah, try to figure this out. Oh, man. So, and every little detail, every little thing on this mural is relevant in some way. Like, there's nothing on this mural that I could say that Oda just threw in there for filler, for, like, the sake of filler. Like, you could look at other manga, you could see other, you know, detailed things, and maybe the mangaka is just like, oh, I just wanted to draw this really elaborate thing just for the sake of it. I might just throw some stuff in there. But no, like, every single thing in this mural is part of the puzzle, and get used to seeing this, not just my crappy version, but like the actual proper mural, because yeah, like I said in the review, One Piece theories are going to be coming out the ass with this thing. You will be sick of seeing this mural. I guarantee it. It will be my personal mission to make sure that you have memorized every single square pixel of this mural by the end of 2025. You're going to know every single bit of it. So what I did was, I took this and I numbered every little thing in this mural that would deem necessary, like, discussion, like every little thing. And I arrived at 40 right over here, 40 things. I just kind of numbered them generally from the top left all the way down to kind of like the bottom right area. And we're going to go through all of those today. Maybe you would come up with more than 40. It just kind of is arbitrary. I'm just kind of going through every little thing and just being like, all right, that's something to talk about. That's something to talk about. That's something to talk about. Sometimes I group things together. Like over here, like the demon dude off to the left, I just numbered him as number 2, and that includes holding the sun in his hand. Maybe you would label the sun as like a separate thing. I'm not really sure, but this is what I ended up with. I got 40 things. And right here, we got a list of every single one of these things that we're going to go through here that I wrote down. And I've been looking through a lot of comments. A lot of people have been coming up with cooking on theories already. Like, this is just the day it came out. I read, like, the TCB version came out after I did my review. And the TCB is a little bit different. You know, it's actually, like, I'm going to get through all the different translations of the Harley text, so like the first, second, and third worlds. I talked to Artur earlier today, and I'm actually going to have him back on my channel, or I'm going to go on his channel. Like, we're going to do another collab coming up soon, in probably the next week or so, about this. So if you guys loved our last collab that me and Artur did, we're going to be doing one again. And he gave me a translation of the Harley text that is really fascinating that he took from the, and he actually also sent me the paragraphs of the original Japanese, so shout out to Artur for that. Go and check out the Library of Ohara and all of his links down below. But yeah, I'm more fascinated by just the mural. I mean, like, it really is. And keep in mind, Robin and Frankie were at separate locations, so Robin was not looking at the mural at the same time Frankie was. Like, Frankie doesn't know what the Harley texts say, and Robin doesn't know what the mural says, kind of thing. Like, really, this is all going to come together when Robin goes to look at the mural, and maybe then we can actually get some like Robin will be like piecing it together, and maybe a lot of the same theories will be like, oh, that's what that represents, or that's the Iron Giant clearly, you know what I mean, like all that kind of stuff when we get to that. But yeah, I'm just going to be focusing on the mural itself today, the text itself. I mean, we'll be discussing the text like tangentially just because of what they say, but yeah, I'm not going to be doing a deep dive in the text quite yet. Okay, this really does feel, by the way, like I'm teaching some kind of history class in like college or something. Like, I don't know. You could really turn One Piece into a college level course. But anyway, let's start with number 1 over here. So we see these little star-esque symbols all over the mural. I tried to... This is what I mean by every little thing matters. So when I copied this from the chapter, I tried my best to draw all the stars where they are located on the mural. I tried to make everything an exact one-to-one as I could. I messed up with the boats down here. If you go and look at the boats from the actual mural, the boats are all over the place. I actually had to go back and draw this one in, number 17, because that one I completely forgot about, but we'll get to that. But anyway, yeah, these star symbols up here. So I have this written as stars originally, but also I have it written as energy. Actually, that should be energy with a question mark here. Energy, and then devil fruits, because down here we see these star symbols up here, and they're up here by the moon as well. But then when you go down here into this area, these people are clearly ascending this, and they're like handing it off to one another, and the pieces are getting like bigger and bigger as they keep getting to the top of this platform. They hand them off there, and then they toss them into this like little receptacle here. I'll just turn that off for a moment, which, by the way, I could have probably numbered this receptacle on its own, because like that's something else. Like, it kind of looks like part of the boat, but they're tossing it into this thing, and that's what's like powering this city over here. So I assumed it was like the raw power of the sun, like we're doing some Mother Flame-esque stuff here. But then I also saw a lot of people talking about them as if they were devil fruits. You know, like oh yeah, the people are going down into hell, and then they're coming up with these like fragments, which are devil fruits, which are used to power the ancient kingdom. So I don't know, like I didn't immediately assume them as devil fruits, but then again, I mean, like devil fruits being prevalent in the mural would make sense. Vegapunk didn't really do a great job of explaining where devil fruits came from. He just kind of say they came from human desire. Like, where do they actually spawn from, though? Like, did they come from the sky originally? Because that could have been a thing. Because there's clearly a reference to the sky here. I mean, they're up here, obviously. They're next to the moon over here. So they're kind of like framing this entire mural. And then over here, they also play a role. So I got to be honest with you, I didn't immediately assume these things to be devil fruits, or that the ancient kingdom was like killing people, turning them into devil fruits, and like tossing them into like, you know, this receptacle. But then I'm also thinking, like, devil fruit's human desire. What if it's like somebody was killed or sacrificed, maybe it was a better word to use here, and it's their death and their greatest desire that gets manifested and turned into a devil fruit. So, like, it isn't just like somebody dreams to become a jacket and then the jacket fruit spawns somewhere in the world. It's they dreamed to become a jacket and then they died, or they were sacrificed on an altar or something, maybe, or thrown down into this machine, I guess. And then their greatest of they die, but their soul is still there, and it manifests in the form of the jacket fruit. Is the best way for me to describe that. I always use the jacket fruit because, dude, somebody at some point had to dream to become a jacket. Like that had to have happened. But yeah, I'm not really sure about that. What do you think about those star symbols? So the number 2 is the horned and winged demon holding the sun. I put Emu here. I didn't mention Emu during the chapter, but a lot of people pointed out that, like, holy crap, that is kind of obvious. Like, you have maybe Joy Boy over here, and then giants, and then Emmet, the Iron Giant, and then you have some fishmen and merfolk and minks and tontattas and everybody kind of in the samurai kind of going after this being. And it would make sense that this big shadowy being that, you know, stole the sun could be could be Emu, and that's the reason why they're all fighting this individual, except for this boat down here that we'll get to. This boat down here that I think had 5 or 6 people on it might represent the original Gorosei. They're actually fighting against this group here. I also assumed it could be the god of the earth that, like, everybody pissed off because, like, I'm thinking Emu, but also, like, these 3 are also supposed to be the ancient weapons. I mean, they're shaded in a way in the manga that's very clearly setting them apart from the rest of this. So, like, over here we have God of the Earth, God of the Sky over here, and then God of the Sea. So we have a devil, which is Pluton, and then like a winged dragon kind of deal. That's Uranus, and then over here we have a giant serpent, which is Poseidon, or the god of the sea. So like that's the idea there. But yeah, clearly is holding the sun in their hands, so could be the power of the mother flame. And that's also the question of, like, are we talking about the first world, second world, or third world here, or are they perhaps all in one? Because I should be going in order here, but that's going to be very difficult because everything in this mural is kind of interconnected, as it were. But we'll see once we get over here. Like, this could be a symbol of, like, the war that occurred during the Void Century. It could also be the setup of what's going to happen, like, now in the third world, like the final battle in the series. Like, this could represent the god of the earth in this mural context, but could represent Emu in the current context. You know what you know what I'm saying here? So down here, I just put 3. 3's the easy one. That's just the flames. I just wanted to put everything. So the flames are also relevant, though. They border the entire bottom of this. You know, even this area over here that is kind of like an elephant, which a lot of people have mentioned that could be Zunisha. I assumed it was some area that was separated off to be like the underwater area because the Noah's there and everything. But even that doesn't go all the way down. But ironically, interestingly enough, this area goes all the way down into the flames. So the flames could represent the underworld. They could represent hell. They could represent just death in general. Like when you go down into the flames, you are dead. And the whole world is kind of framed in flames during these tumultuous times. 4 is the sun god Nika with a sword and shield. Over here is the sun god. We can clearly indicate that is the same kind of sun god that was drawn a couple of chapters ago. The detailed version with the shield, and that's like the image that all the giants on Elbaf see Nika with the shield. Every time we've seen Nika before this, it was always with a spear or like some staff weapon and a sword. Here it's with a sword and shield, so that's interesting. Probably something to do with the different interpretations, because we know the first world version of Nika was a savior and a liberator. The second world version was apparently a harbinger of destruction in some way or fashion, and the third one is a being of laughter that Luffy is, of course, representative. So I'm even wondering, like, we know that there's multiple devil fruits of the same kind because of, like, Vegapunk making the green blood and multiple zones and stuff like that. Is it possible that the Ancient Kingdom was... because the Ancient Kingdom was kind of on the same level as Vegapunk, if not greater. So what if the Ancient Kingdom figured out a way to duplicate devil fruits and zones especially, and they made the copies of the Sun God fruits? So there's, like, multiple Sun God fruits. There's, like, Luffy might have the original, or he might have an artificial one. Not really sure how that works. Or there could be different variations. There could be a Sun God zone that embodies the Liberator aspect. There could be a Sun God zone that embodies the Destroyer aspect. And then there could be one that embodies trickery and laughter. You know, we could just have 3 separate Sun God fruits for 3 separate individuals. And that leads us to number 5, the horned giant with a spear or some kind of javelin, long, you know, stick-like weapon. And that is over here. That is very reminiscent of Loki. The hair also kind of gave me some Oars vibes, like the long hair, but also Loki as well. Loki is shown to be holding or has a hammer on his back, is when he was chained to the tree. People have questioned why he has the hammer. They probably weren't able to, like, get it off of him. They probably just ambushed him and then chained him to a tree and didn't have time to, like, remove his armor or his weapon. So that's what he has, but he can't reach it. So, you know, for now, anyway. But, yeah, this is the thing that people are saying. Like, what if number 4 here represents Luffy, and then number 5 is Loki? And then, obviously, down here we have, like, number 19, we have the Kozukis, because these are clearly the samurai. So the Kozukis are arriving, so that's Momonosuke. And then we have 11, which would be a mermaid princess. That's Shirahoshi arriving. We have the Tontattas. That could be Leo. You know what I mean? Like, they're all here for, like, the final battle. But this is also reminiscent. I mean, this is an old theory, too. This is like Luffy's crew is the mirror of Joy Boy's crew. Like, Luffy is the sun god, is Joy Boy. Chopper would be Zunisha, the animal. And then Frankie would be Emmet, the Iron Giant. And there's, like, parallels, like, 1-to-1 there with everybody. So it's very possible there. Number 6, we have a winged person. Oh, number 6 is up here. So this individual in the original mural is shaded in a little darker. So not like it's not like the black wings or like a standout or anything, but it's possible that this is in Lunarian. Lunarian that's like dive bombing the evil demon dragon, which would make sense if this has to deal with like the takeover of the Red Line and Marijois, and the Lunarians are the original inhabitants of that place. The angel like being here also has a halo over their head, which is something that can also be seen on the, I guess humans over here on this side. There we go. We can kind of see it. I have to kind of keep the, let me see if I can minimize that just a little bit. You can still read that, right? Yeah, there we go. All right, but yeah, it's very possible this individual could be a Lunarian. Number 7 is the whale with 2 people on its back here that are holding spears. So number 7, I think a lot of people, keyed into this being Laboon. Laboon's probably the most prominent whale in the entire manga. There are other island whales, and they're all attacking the Red Line, which could indicate something. I'm thinking right now with the end of the first world, the creation of the Red Line occurred. The end of the second world was the creation of the Grand Line. And at the end, the final verses are, they shall not meet again, they shall not meet again. So the world was originally one thing. And once again, this is going back to old school One Piece theories that the One Piece world will end with the Red Line being destroyed and the entire place will become one ocean, the all blue, as it were, all oceans united, and that will be One Piece. Like, that is something that's been around for like well over 20-something years in the One Piece fan base. And we could still very well arrive at that. It's just that now we kind of have like the journey of how we get there kind of thing. So like at the end of the first world, the world is divided in 2 by the Red Line. So both sides, like east and west, I guess, cannot meet each other anymore. So they shall not meet again. And then you have the Flood, which also very well could have created the Grand Line at the end of the Void Century. So there is the creation of the Grand Line. So now the world is separated that other direction, so north and south. So now north, south, east, west blues. They shall not meet again. They shall not meet again. And then after the end of the third one, they shall meet again. So there we have that, where like Luffy's ultimately going to create the ultimate destruction of the Grand Line and the Red Line. This is probably going to displace, if not kill, a lot of people. Like, it kind of has to. But Laboon also plays a role here, as well as like every island whale, because we saw the pod of island whales on the other side of the Red Line, the when they were coming up from Fishman Island, about to reach Punk Hazard. We saw they were also slamming their heads against the Red Line, and that could indicate like they want to meet each other again. They shall not meet again, though, because the Red Line divides it. The Red Line is not natural. It absolutely 100% is not natural, and kind of the same thing with the Grand Line as well. So, as for the 2 individuals that are on top of Laboon, maybe one of them could very well be Crocus, if we're like signifying this for the final battle. I don't know who the other individual could be. Maybe it's Yorkie. Yorkie and Crocus reunite, get on top of Laboon, and he's like, oh, we're coming, Brook, something like that. Up here, number 8, we have some raindroplets. Don't really know anything about that other than the fact that the Shandorans mentioned a god of the rain, Kami no Ame, and Ame just means rain in Japanese, so it's very indicative of that. Maybe that's a signifying feature here. I don't really have any idea for what like the rain droplets signify. I'm very hesitant to say that like, oh yeah, they're just raindrops, they have nothing to do with anything. I mean, no, they definitely have something to do with anything, but I just, I'm not 100% sure just beyond that god of the rain reference. What's up, number 9? Where's number 9 at? Number 9 is down here. Number 9 is just a giant running with a shield. The way I drew it makes it look like he doesn't have an arm, but no, he has 2 arms. There's just a giant running into the fray with a sword and a shield and a horned helmet. This could just be indicative, because like I think at this point Oda is just making sure to draw very specific representatives of each individual tribe or race, with like this giant over here I think being specifically modeled after Loki, but number 9 just being maybe generic giant that's running into the battle. Number 10 here is, I did not draw it properly. Kind of looks like a mouse the way I drew it, but if you look in the chapter, it looks more similar to like a bear. So I'm thinking maybe like a bear mink that's wielding a sword, and the kind of the sword is like going behind it, so that's why the sword's coming out of like the back of its head. It's kind of holding the sword like this, but has a tail. So I guess, I don't know, I guess it might not be a bear, because bears don't really have prominent tails, but then again, One Piece, I don't know. But yeah, clearly a member of the Mink tribe. Then we have 11 is a mermaid princess, because she is wearing a crown, so also carrying a trident. So a mermaid carrying a trident and a crown. I mean, like that would obviously indicate Shirahoshi at first, although Shirahoshi's not really a fighter. You know, so like in the past, though, if we're going in the lens of the past, because like, that's the thing, I'm shifting back and forth between lens of the past of the Void Century War and then lens of the future that'll like mirror it, which is clearly, I think, what a part of this Oda is going for. But this is probably the original Mermaid Princess. This is Poseidon, and Poseidon might have had a more active role. She might have not have been as much of a crybaby as Shirahoshi. She might have actually, like, picked up a weapon and it's like, all right, Joy Boy, my beloved, let's go. You know, I'll charge into battle with you any day. You know, it could have easily have been, that. Number 12 is very tiny, but is clearly a Tontatta. Little Tontatta. We can't even really make out their features too much, but the Tontattas, the Minks, the Giants, the Merfolk, the Fishmen, they were all part of this battle way back in the day. Number 13, we just have a fish. Just a fish. But the fish even could be relevant. What's the fish mean? I don't know. Like, even just all the creatures of the sea together. Maybe not the Sea Kings, but, like, creatures of the sea, assemble! You know? Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy use their abilities to summon the sea creatures and attack the demon that has stolen the sun. You know, like, I don't know. All the fish were pissed off, too, at this guy. Oh, man, they got some carp. They got some salmon on their side. Man, Joy Boy enlisted everybody back in the day, man. All right, so we have number 14 now. We have a boat with just one person. I went back and looked at this. This is the one that seems just like generic dude. I mean, the humans had to be represented at some point, too. So maybe number 14 literally just represents humanity. It just represents mankind heading to the battle. Like, mankind, humans fought in this too, you know, like everybody kind of did, right? Okay, so there you go. Then we have number 15, which is this black boat. Not all the boats are shaded in the same tone. That might just be for Oda to differentiate between a few of them, just to give us not like the same boat design for every single one of them. Or it could have a significance to it. But there is a boat that's shaded in black, and I think there's like 3 individuals kind of sailing on that one. So there it is. 16 is a longboat with 6 individuals. I think I only drew 5 here, but if you go and look at the chapter, there is a person that I think is jumping off the boat, actually. It actually does seem like somebody is jumping off of this. So that would be actually really cool if you had, like, okay, these are the 5 members of the Gorosei, or the 5 original elders that are actually fighting for this demon creature. Or emu, because the sail is facing the other direction. In fact, on this side, yeah, the only people that are, you know, opposing this giant army over here is the demon with the sun, and then this one particular longboat, okay? So, yeah, and if there was a 6th person that jumped, ooh, who was the defector? I wonder. There might have been 6 elders originally, and one of them left, and Emu might have been so butthurt about that. He was like, we only have 6. I mean, we only have 5 from now on. We're only going to have 5 members of the elders, not the 6 elders anymore, because of that one dude that left. So, yeah, that was also that, too. Yeah, but I forgot to draw that person in, so go back. I can assure you there's, like, another individual that's outside of the boat, like, in this general area. Number 17, boat with one person with a ribbon. That's the one I forgot to draw in at first in the review. You didn't see this one. So there is one boat that has a dude in it, just one person, and they seem to have like a ribbon, kind of like Luffy's Gear 5th, kind of like all Awakened Zone users. So maybe this is indicative of an Awakened Zone individual. I'm trying to think of all the Awakened Zones, like maybe it's Lucci, maybe it's Kaku, maybe they're going to join together and help out with the battle as well. I'm not even sure if it is a ribbon, which is why I put in a question mark. Could just be, you know, it could just be maybe his movement. Maybe he's moving around or doing something, or maybe it could be his hair as well. But to me, in the chapter, it looked like somebody that had like the ribbon, similar to the ribbon with an Awakened Mythical Zone user. Down here, number 18, this is the only boat that has 2 sails. Don't know if that's relevant or pertinent to anything, but there was 2 sails on this one boat. And this is the person that seems to have hair that is similar to like a lion's mane or like a sunflower, I guess. It does really look like this. It looks like little circles kind of like framing their head. So, I mean, like, Shiki the Golden Lion, lion is his epithet, like kind of like maybe it's supposed to indicate a lion's mane. That was kind of the joke with the Sunny's figurehead, like it's supposed to be a lion, but it also kind of looks like a sunflower. You know, that's the idea. Then we have number 19 over here, which is the Kozuki clan. It's another ship that's shaded in darker, and we have samurai. We have two people here. I forgot to draw the other one. But we have a person with a top knot that's wielding a katana, and the katana is like really prominent with this particular boat. So they are the Kozukis, they are the samurai that are going into battle here. We also know that Joy Boy allied with the Kozuki clan and the Minks. They formed like a triple kind of alliance here, in particular Minks, Joy Boy, Kozuki. So that would make sense as well that they would be there. But yeah, the Kozuki clan was also present. Then we have number 20, the boat with the sun emblem. All right, so this could be Alabasta. We see a lone woman on the deck of that. Actually, there might be two people on that one. Yeah, there's two people. I think there's another person I forgot to draw. Keep in mind, they're all stick figures, so I forgot like a lot of them, and I missed some of them when I was drawing this. But we have this image right here. If you go back and look at Alabasta, like on the wiki, there is a flag that looks like this. You could also say it looks similar to the sun symbol, which is because the Alabasta is the desert, so therefore also the same symbol on Nika's shield. Also kind of looks like a paw symbol. Also kind of looks like the sun symbol that is a more simplified version that is the brand that the Sun Pirates used on the slaves. And in some way, you know, it's like covering up the Tenryubito's claw. The claw even can resemble this if it's like doubled or mirrored. You could even see Akuma's paw as well. So there's so many different ways to interpret just a circle with a bunch of circles around it. But I immediately went to Alabasta. That was the immediate indication. And because there is a woman on the head of the ship, I'm thinking Nefeltari D. Lili is that individual, and she was also part of this entire battle, actually betraying the Allied alliance, the Allied forces, the World Alliance that was made. In fact, this might actually represent maybe the World Allied forces that would eventually become the world government, but I don't know. There's 5 of them, and then the one person that jumped ship. So I'm feeling like this would be indicating of the 5 elders. Number 21, we have Emet up here, the Iron Giant. When I was drawing this little like triangle thing here, I remembered Charlie Brown, and then I immediately thought of also Power Rangers Lost Galaxy with the diagonal kind of triangle stuff on their tunics. But yeah, we have Emet the Iron Giant. It's clearly Emet. It's some kind of robot being here. That was part of the war as well. Also, the area here on his arms are kind of drawn in. He has stars on his arms, and we see... Oh, no, not stars. Frankie has stars. Emet had X's, like X's drawn on his hands, on his arms, in the same vein of like the friendship mark that Vivi has with all the original Straw Hats. So that's something. Although the X marks were not here in the mural, so I did not include them. I kind of wanted to, but I was like, well, no, Oda did not draw them, so I'm not going to include them here on the mural. But yeah, that's Emet. Then we have up here, number 22. In the review, I just said this was like a wolf mink. A lot of people were quick to point out that this could be an individual that had Yamato's devil fruit, the Okuchi no Makami, the guardian deity of Wano, the wolf mythical zone, basically. Yeah, very clearly could be an individual with that devil fruit and attacking as well along with it. Yeah, easily. Although this individual, if they do have that devil fruit, does not have the ribbon. I bring that up just because with the sun god down here, the ribbon is definitely prevalent, and all awakened mythical zones would have the ribbon. Yamato has the ribbon. Yeah, Yamato has the ribbon. So, yeah, I mean, like, it could clearly still be that devil fruit. It's just, yeah, I mean, like, if we look down here, if this is supposed to be Loki in particular, then we have another generic giant right here, right? If this is supposed to be the representation of the Mink tribe, number 10, then, I mean, I guess this could be another member of the Minks, or this could be a very specific character, and this could be the individual with that devil fruit, or maybe some other mythical zone that gives you this kind of, like, wolf-like appearance, some kind of, you know, zone like that, right? 23 is the tree. I'm going to zoom out here. 23 is the tree Yggdrasil. I really had to, like, scrunch it up in this drawing to fit on the poster board. The branches go out a lot further in the original, and the trunk is a little bit more thick in the original version. But yeah, Yggdrasil tree. The significance of Yggdrasil being right in the center, dividing these two areas, I'm once again not 100% sold on like everything over here being Void Century and then over here being First World. Yeah, because there's stuff over here. Like, this is clearly the Ancient Kingdom over here. Like, this has to be the Ancient Kingdom with all the technological advancements and all that. So that would still be during the Void Century. So I think rather than trying to look at this mural as like the third, second, and first worlds are all represented in various like sections of it, like a what's it called? A triptych. A triptych is like a painting that you can kind of fold and you can open it up to reveal like 3 carved panels. This is not that. This is not a triptych. This is more of like all 3 of these worlds have so many similarities. They kind of all form an amalgam in this mural. So that's why I keep going back to like, yeah, this could be Poseidon, the Mermaid Princess back then, could also represent Shirahoshi right now. This could be Earth God dude from the first world, Emu from the second world, Emu now, you know what I mean? Like, that could all be the same deal. What was that? Number 24. Number 24 is the winged dragon, guardian of the fortress, you know, thing up here. And it is the indication. Could be a dragon, too. Like, this thing could straight up be a fucking dragon, because we knew dragons existed in One Piece. It also has horns, and it's breathing fire. And representing the sky weapon, which would be Uranos. Could also be the weapon that was used to destroy Lelucia, represented by these animals. So, yeah. Then the fire it's spewing into goes into the mouth of the sea creature. Like, they're spewing fire from both sides. I don't know if that's something to indicate a connection between the two, or just, like, artistic. It looks cool that, like, one's breathing fire. Like, which one is breathing the fire? They're both breathing the fire at the same time kind of deal. Number 25 is the moon. So we have these strange little donut things on the moon, which might represent the depletion of resources. We know there's a city, Bierka, on the moon that was mined for resources, ran out, and then all the automata were stationed there. Eneru arrives, powers it back up. So maybe that's the indication there. They were mining the moon dry. They ran out of resources. I'm really curious how the moon fits into all this now. Like, maybe humanity and all these people started on the moon, and then they came down to the planet, and then they started the first world there. Was the first world going on concurrently with the moon? It really is a question here. Did all of humanity, like, did the life on the planet even start until, like, did it start before the moon people came down or after they did? You know what I mean? Like, I'm curious exactly how the moon fits into all of it. Speaking of the moon, we have number 26. We have the Ark, the floating ark in the sky, which is very clearly the Maxim, Eneru's ark. It looks very, very similar to that. And in fact, I think that, like, Eneru had to get the idea from it somewhere. Maybe he saw, like, a carving in the city somewhere in gold or something, and he's like, that's what I want to make. That's my hot rod. That's my hot ticket right there. That's what's going to get me to the moon. And why did Eneru want to go to the moon? Well, he wanted to go to the moon because there was, like, a legend of the fairy Verth, or the endless Verth. But where did he hear that legend from, right? He was a Bjerkan, so maybe in Bjerka, his homeland, they told him about the story of an ark in the moon, and he was, like, really inspired by that, and he's like, that's what I want to do someday, is get a lightning fruit, destroy my homeland, go to Skypea, take it over as God, enslave a bunch of people, and make an ark to go to the moon. I mean, these are just small-town dreams, man. These are just a simple, you know, white-collar kind of man's dreams. You know, like, that's what he wanted. But yeah, I mean, it's a fucking flying ark in the sky. I mean, there it is. And it is also shooting a lightning bolt. So this is like a thing, like, people are even just saying, like, no, this is just an indication that fucking Eneru is going to show up again right now. And I think Eneru showing up in the Elbaf arc is perfect. I think it fits really well for his character. You could throw in some Viking layers and Norse mythology, Thor stuff. I mean, he had an ability called El Thor. I mean, he had a technique called that, so I could easily have Eneru show back up. All right, so this lightning bolt that's going down, 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 it goes through this area, and it actually ends up striking the tree. I didn't say that in the review, but it does strike the tree. Now, number 27 is interesting. I assumed originally this was like some underwater space, you know, just like because this is the area where the ark is. But no, people are pointing it out like, yeah, it actually kind of looks like an elephant when you look at it. And, like, does that mean that, like, Zunisha is going to swallow the Noah? I mean, honestly, with how big fucking Zunisha is, nah, probably not. The Noah is bigger. It's like half the size of Fishman Island. I don't think Zunisha can eat the Noah, but I think it is supposed to represent an elephant. Because if that doesn't represent an elephant, it's really weird that this entire mural does not have something that resembles Zunisha. You'd feel like Zunisha would be shown somewhere on this mural, and the only where that really it makes sense is this right here. Yeah. So I'm thinking now that a lot of people have pointed it out, I think you guys are right. I think this is Zunisha. Number 28 is the person on top with the crown. So how many people with a crown do we have? We have this person with a crown. We have the Mermaid Princess over here with a crown. I think there's the only two people that have crowns. So I said it was one of Neptune's ancestors, but could be somebody that, like, subjugated Zunisha back then. Zunisha is forced to carry out a particular order. Maybe that was the individual that gave Zunisha the order. Not really sure. You could kind of interpret this either way. You can interpret this as somebody that's standing over Zunisha, the Lord of Zunisha, or the subjugator of Zunisha. But you could also look at this as somebody that's the ruler of the undersea realm, because you see the Noah down here represented. So maybe that's, you know, just as simple as that, the old King Neptune, or something more malicious possibly. Then, number 29, we have the Noah itself. I mean, that's an easy one. And, like, the Noah was built during the Void Century, so, like, you know, that probably has not a lot of parallels in the first world, but in the second, certainly. And remember, it's also important to remember, this mural was drawn during the Void Century. This was drawn by children of Elbaf during 800 to 900 years back. So, like, the Void Century would be way more fresh in their mind than the first world would have been, right? But there's certainly going to still be parallels. Number 30, we have this angel, or possibly Skypiean. Now, Skypians is the English dubbed name. Sky people is just how they're referred to as in Japanese. But I use Skypiean just because that's, you know, that's the dub I watched growing up. But yeah, so it could be an actual Skypiean, or it could just be a legitimate angel. Could be, like, somebody that's actually just an angel meant to, like, represent, like, a guardian. Because why would a Skypiean be down underwater with the Noah? I mean, totally could happen, like, worlds collide sort of thing. But it could also just be a representation of hope for the people down here, number 31, boarding the Ark. So there's, I don't know why I didn't draw that last animal, but there are 4 animals that are walking on all 4s, possibly like horses over here, maybe sheep or cows over here. And then there's also 2 individuals boarding the Ark. So you could say, like, 2 of every animal. That's like the story of Noah's Ark, where I think in some variations of that story and some interpretations it was more than 2 per animal. But that's neither here nor there. The most popular telling of that tale, of that story, is, you know, Noah's family, and then 2 of every animal came onto the Ark. So that's obviously the version Oda's going to go with. So they're boarding the Ark here. And it's also important to keep in mind that right here, this underworld version does, like, stop. Like, it doesn't go all the way down into the flames. It does have, like, so it's like a container almost, like, all the way around, you see? So, like, that's something like the container could represent the underwater realms, but also Zunisha. So there it is, just in terms of the shape. So yeah, the fishmen and merfolk and people boarding the ship and going to salvation, that's something that did not happen during the Void Century. That was part of the promise that was broken by Joy Boy. Poseidon being the other person, the person Joy Boy promised to. So hopefully in the third world, the idea is the Fishman Island will be destroyed, everybody will board the Noah, and then get to safety. And hopefully this angel person will protect them. So 32. 32 just represents this mechanism. The mechanism of, like, the elevator that's going down and up. So the left side of the mechanism, everybody coming up with these star fragments and carrying them up here. And then I'm going to move this over. And then we have, like, just to do this. Then we have the right side of the mechanism only. So I'm looking at this, and I'm trying to figure out, like, did Oda intend this mechanism? The fact he drew this makes, and he had to draw it in this particular way. Like, everything here was drawn with a purpose. This is not meant to be taken with separate sides, different things. This is meant to be, like, these people are going down and then coming up over here. Or these people are going down and coming up over here. But I think it's this way. With the people on the right descending and the people on the left ascending, because they're bringing up this fuel source. All right, so that's that. Now 33, the people coming up from the flames with the star energy devil fruit fragments. There's 4 people here, and then leading into 34, 4 individuals picking up the power. Like, it's just like a line of workers, like, passing things on and then throwing it into here, and that's supplying energy for this city. Number 35. I talked about this a little earlier. I don't think these are devil fruits. I'm not getting the vibe that they use devil fruits. But these are certainly oppressed individuals. They're walking with their heads hung low with like the burden of like this energy, this ore or whatever it is that they're tossing into these buildings over them. So the ancient kingdom did incorporate slavery. The era before the Void Century was the era of slaves. But this is also despite the fact that like the ancient kingdom was so advanced, you know, but they still utilized slaves. It's interesting if that actually does turn out to be the case. They were so technologically advanced, why would they need to do that? But like the hubris of man kind of thing, you know what I mean? So then 35 is the city over here. The very modern looking like city with the crooked kind of buildings that Oda drew. I think just making them crooked just for the sake of like it looks cooler on the mural rather than just straight like, you know, industry buildings and stuff like that. But yeah, that's buildings there. And then we have 36 is the sea monster, Poseidon. Or it could also represent the Jormungandr serpent. Although I think Jormungandr is the red line. I'm pretty sure Jormungandr is going to be the red line, not an actual sea serpent. I just realized I forgot to draw the X's. The X's go all the way down the body of this creature. That annoys me. I forgot to draw the X's on that thing. But anyway, 36 and then 37. 37 is the gears and cogs and mechanical work that is down here. That's just representing that this is super technologically advanced city on par with the level of Egghead, if not greater. This does kind of... This is interesting to me. The little boat with people on it that are messing with the gears and cogs, like they're inside of the city working on it or under the city working on it. That's something else. I'm not really sure what that's all about there. Like, why is there a boat in particular drawn in this one location with people messing with the cogs and the gears? Like, I'm not really sure. Like, are they just like the maintenance workers of the city, or is there something else going on with that? Like, there was an undercity, people are living under there or something like that, like a different society. I'm not really sure. Then we have 39 and 40. They kind of go hand in hand. So we have 39 people going down the elevator with halos over their heads. I don't think these are people coming back up and being saved. I was thinking at first that maybe it was people that died and then the ancient kingdom with their technological advancements figured out a way to beat death and revive the dead. Now I'm looking at it from a completely different way, a more sacrificial pawn, like you need to die in order for the city to thrive kind of thing. And so they're throwing them down into the fiery pits of hell. And then, I don't know, I don't think they're the same kind of people coming back up. That's the thing that's bugging me. Maybe it is their souls that came back with the devil fruits, and that's that, and these other people are bringing it up, but I just don't know. This thing is really... This part is the more fascinating part for me. This part over here, this part over here. What else in particular is, you know, this individual over here, number 22. Let me know. Let me know down below. I'll take this off now. Let me know down below which numbers are you, like, the most interested in here. Fascinated by this thing, because like some of them are kind of self-explanatory, but others are like, oh, we need way more context. Like this whole mess over here needs way more context. But yeah, okay. So that was pretty much that. I'm not gonna go, like I said, into the texts yet. The texts are gonna be the next video. I got to go through all of the stuff Artur sent me, and you know, go basically line by line, verse by verse when I'm gonna be doing that breakdown. But yeah, this is insane. This is just, I mean, hey, I love it though, because Oda's not making this easy. Oda's not making it like super, like telegraphed on this is going to be the end of One Piece that everybody saw coming. It's like, no, this is what I would expect no less from this, because it's a 27, almost 28 year long story now. Like, unless we did get shit like this, it's like, I don't want it to just be Luffy finds the One Piece and it turns out Joy Boy was a good guy and the world government was evil, and then Eam stole the Mother Flame and then Joy Boy fought him but he lost and then Luffy has to avenge him, and then like that's whatever. It's fine. That's fine for a story that's maybe like you know, a couple hundred chapters or something, real quick kind of story. I've read manga that have pretty simple stories that just get the whole thing through pretty quickly and that's it, and okay, thank you for reading, have a good day. But like One Piece can't be that, all right? It just simply can't. We can't have a 30-year-long story almost end with like the most tired, used tropes like ever. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta reinvent this. We gotta use tropes. Tropes are there for a reason, but like, you gotta reinvent this stuff. You cannot make it so easily telegraphed. And Oda with 40 fucking numbered things right in front of me right now to break down and examine, he's not making it simple. And I love that man for that. Oh man. All right. Well, anyway, that's this video. That was 50 minutes. that was 50 fucking minutes. Almost. I'll have to cut some of this out. I messed up a couple times, but like, holy crap. I hope you guys are fans of the long form content because, oh God, we're going to be getting a lot of that coming up. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Remember to like and subscribe and all that stuff. You know, check out the Spotify. I don't usually do promotional stuff at the end, but whatever. I mean, we're here, might as well. There's a lot of new people coming to the channel because of this. I've seen an uptick in the subscribers because of that chapter review. So, welcome, everybody. How you doing? I'm teching. This is what I do at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, this is what I do. Later, everybody. Teching signing out.